I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Kathy Aldency. Here. Mickey Martin.
Here.
Joy Sellers.
Here.
Nikki Bender.
Here.
Patrick Sellers.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the May 2nd, 2016 Town Board regular meeting. I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Aldency, second by Sellers. Please take a look at the minutes. Any questions or concerns?
I didn't have any.
Okay. All righty. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All righty. That's approved. Okay. Next order of business is approval of bills payable. A motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Aldency, second by Sellers. Let's take a look at the bills payable.
Why do you have to pay for room rental at the Farmview?
Well, because I talked to Mr. Johnson, and we have to rent the room because we use it every week. So we use it every Wednesday for our program.
It's
Usually
$25 a week, isn't it?
How many?
25 a week?
Yep.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I was just, January through March,
Yeah.
$315.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always pretty good about,
He actually gave us a pretty good break on it, honestly.
well, I would think so,
Yes.
25.
$25 ain't bad.
Yeah.
Gave us a good break on
I mean, you gotta get something with lights and,
that. Right.
you know.
Clean up.
Well, what are those tax lien properties?
Tax lien properties, they are a new vendor. They own the property that the client lives in, so.
So
That's the
tax
name.
lien properties is a company?
I'm gonna look.
I thought it was a description.
No.
It is.
no.
It is.
It is. I'm gonna do a little research on that and see who actually owns it, and do a little digging. So
Is it somebody new, Cindy?
No, he's been around for a long time.
Oh.
Do you know who owns it?
Yes.
I guess I'll be coming.
So the mobile cards, they're still using them for jobs and.
Yeah. Yep. And now the client can ask for extra mobile cards. It comes out of their grant though.
Oh.
So they can purchase them out of their grant. If they want to purchase more mobile cards, they most
Then
certainly
they have
can.
less of something else.
That's
and
right.
More of
Okay.
mobile.
Have any of them done that?
Oh,
or
no.
Oh.
No, they don't want to do that.
But if they use it to go to a job, then it's automatically given
Yes,
to them.
it comes out of community worker training. So if we send someone to a job site, then we have to provide them with a mobile gas card.
Okay.
But now, how it's operating with the city, we have people who are working at the city yard that are doing some sprucing up and cleaning around there. It's people who are doing some work at the municipal lots, as well as the city cemetery. The city actually picks them up and takes them to the job
Oh, okay.
and brings them back.
Oh,
So
okay.
they don't need gas cards for that. So
Oh,
we
okay,
provide
that's good.
transportation that way.
That's what I was gonna.
Yeah. So that's our collaboration with the city.
Where are some of the other sites that they're going to?
Oh, wow. We're picking up new ones. We still go to the Faith Center. We go to Salvation Army sparingly, not as much as we used to at all. With the city, I've been in contact with people from Freeport Downtown Development. Maybe we can just start getting some things done more downtown.
How about the Park District? Do they do anything for them or no?
No, no. We contacted the Park District early when the program was just taking off, and we never get anything
Okay.
collaborated with them. What I would like for our clients to have done was be in the park picking up trash before they cut the grass. And our clients would be responsible for picking up the trash, and they cut the grass, and we would rake the grass. But it fell through. So I never got a chance to get that going. But any more questions or plans or demands? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Martin.
Aye.
Aldensey.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Sellers.
Aye.
Sellers.
Oh,
Aye. Sorry about that. That was my fault.
Motion passed.
The next order of business is the supervisor's report. What I want to talk to you guys about, there is a new program called the Salvage Program. You guys read the paper.
Yes, we did.
We are in collaboration. I held back on saying anything until the program was a go. But we are in collaboration with the city, with Faith Center Church, and with Rock River Training. And we have some of our clients who are going to be going through this deconstruction program. At the end of the program, they will be hired on, so they will not be township clients anymore. We are sending the best clients that we have, the ones who show up at all community work and training functions, do the best job they can do, and get rave reviews from the sponsors. Those are the guys we're sending into this program. So
how many will that be?
right now we have 4 we're sending in.
So when does the program actually, so once they complete the program, then they start, okay,
Then they start.
Is that like taking down houses and things?
You know,
going in and
Yes.
getting the stuff they can
right.
salvage from
Get
the
us
house?
before they tear the house down, going in
salvage.
and salvage things
Okay,
like,
okay.
you know, like cabinets and stuff like that, and
Well, I saw some
countertops.
cold bells on
So,
at a house.
yeah.
They get ready to tear
Who
it
is
down.
overseeing and sponsoring this?
It's a full collaboration with us, Nick Jupin, with the city, and with Rock River Training, and the program called Reuse Program. These people, I guess, are out of California that are coming to teach the actual class.
So they'll be teaching it through the Rock River Training?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And with Workforce Connection here too. That's where our clients are sent in order to be registered for the program. We send our clients there. So it's a good
And when does
program.
it start?
We had scheduled to have it started for May 20th, but it was pushed back a week because we had some couple snags, which was anticipated, but we had a couple snags, so it's pushed back a week, then it'll start a week after the 20th. They also go through the lead abatement program.
You said May or, oh, May,
May,
yeah,
yeah,
what is it
also.
today? Okay.
So they start off in the lead abatement program, so they get their certificates in lead abatement, and then they go into the deconstruction program. So they have a deconstruction certificate and a lead abatement certificate that they can take with them.
So they're gonna start the 27th of May?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, and I think that's what we talked
Now,
about
these
today.
certificates then allow them to be hired on
Yes.
to do some of these, if the city's doing it
Yeah.
or whoever's
Yeah.
doing it.
So if they
Because the
go,
city's got a grant for lead,
yeah,
so that should be a real
yeah.
plus.
And so what the certificate does for them, let's say the person moves from Freeport and they move to Indiana, Indiana, they have a deconstruction certificate. If they're doing deconstruction in Indiana, they can actually join in and have the credentials to join the program there as well. So,
What's the age group?
I think you have to be at least 18 years old and up. So,
And as far as background checks, things of that nature, it's
What-
all good.
yes, what the program actually does is for not just for people that are convicted felons or have felony backgrounds, but people who are low income and have, lower education. So it's like, it's a program, for those guys to be able to get in and get some employment and get some skills.
Opening a
Yes.
good door for them.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I had. Next order of business is the assessor's report.
The only thing I have is I believe probably everyone here received their tax bill, so.
We
they-
love you,
I
Cindy.
know you do. The overall increase was fairly minor for most property owners, so our calls have been pretty minimal, and I mean minimal, so.
Mine went
They
up
usually,
once.
the calls numbers will increase as it gets towards the first payment. But, and then we are doing our quad work, which has been very interesting, so this will be a very busy year for us. That's it.
Okay. The next order of business is trustees report. Trustees, anyone?
Nothing.
Okay. Any public comment? Okay.
Why'd you look at Phil?
Yeah. Any other business come before the town?
Supervisor Sellers, I do,
Okay.
under other business.
Okay.
Under public?
Other business.
Other business.
Under other, okay.
And I'm hoping that maybe this, what I have to say this evening, will put closure, or not, but we'll make an effort. There was, at the last meeting, Trustee Martin made a short comment out of a printed statement, and that printed statement actually came into our hands. The printed statement, I'm going to give you a few bits and pieces, and then I'm going to give you some actual information, and keep your pens in hand because I think you're going to find it interesting. So the comment, the written statement,
I forgot to hand something out.
that's
Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
That's all right. You hand it out, and I'm
Hand it
gonna
around.
proceed. The quote was, Mr. Sellers read from a prepared statement that he called his personal note.
Yes, yes.
When asked, he refused to give me a copy. Now, this is Trustee Martin speaking on this paperwork.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, this is different.
Huh?
This is, okay.
Yeah, this is the
Okay. He and his co-conspirator, Cynthia Petta, the assessor, who in my view provided him with the figures he used to make his case against me. I do not question the figures because the figures don't lie, people do. Okay, so I take this as a personal affront, but I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Trustee Martin.
Well, thank you for
Our-
the support.
Our relationship has probably been adversarial, to say the least. To begin with, to be a co-conspirator, Supervisor Sellers would have to be conspiring on something, and I don't believe that's the case. His statements were in rebuttal to your allegation and aired statements made at the 2016 annual trustee meeting. And no, I didn't give him the figures he shared with you on April 20th meeting, although I do concur with his facts. Now, my response to your quote is read above. It started out with the issue of 3 staff persons in Supervisor Sellers' office and why salaries changed. As Supervisor Sellers stated, this was due to longevity increases, additional job duties to staff reductions, bringing the job salaries in line with other similar jobs in other governmental agencies, and as he wanted to utilize DHS, which others didn't believe to be modeled from. But for everybody's information here, the salary of the township CFO, caseworker/caseworker supervisor, and the office manager are less than those had they been hired by DHS as a new employee. The math you provided regarding salary raises you were questioning had built-in initial longevity steps for the first, second, and third year, which you were part of implementing and putting into place back in 2007 and 8. And then there was an 18-cent hour increase, which we implemented in 2016 and 17. So of course there were raises. Okay, one of the first things done by Supervisor Sellers was to reduce hours from a 40-hour work week to a 37 and a half. The second move made by Supervisor Sellers was ridding his office of the unnecessary use of comp time. 2008, a year to remember. At that point, you were presented, trustees, with a list of labor grades with job titles attached. The year following, the board had been provided with a breakdown of what was known as the list of entry-level grades and salary and level grades, which listed current employees, their grade, and the hourly rate. However, between 2008 and then 2012, that's all you received. The labor grades and the actual list of the jobs, the last time you saw that was in 2008. The last time you approved it was in 2008. In 2012, the information stopped being made available to the board. Why? The township attorney at that time said it wasn't necessary. If the dollars were in the budget, the elected officials could then establish salaries as deemed appropriate within their departments. Remember, elected officials could pay as deemed appropriate once the budget was approved. That's what was said, that's what had been handled, and how it had been handled afterwards. Now to continue, 2011 and 12, you supported the change to a 40-hour work week for the supervisor's office. Knowingly, this was a 7% increase in salary for supervisor's staff, while my staff received 0. Why is this bit of background important to know? I'm going to show you how salaries were handled for just one employee, okay? This employee was hired in 2006. At the beginning of fiscal year 2008, they received a labor grade change, one that you approved, okay? Then, that same fiscal year, in June 20th of 2008, they received a 10% increase. No labor grade, never came to you guys. Then, October 10th, that same individual received a 2% increase. In 2008 and 9, this individual received a 17% increase. This includes the 5% given for the labor grade increase at the beginning of the fiscal year. I guess I take this as trying to figure out. Obviously, you went after Supervisor Sellers and you wanted to chastise him for a 16.3% increase for a CFO who has 21 years of accounting, who balances the books, the monthly bank statements monthly, unlike the previous CFO, who was making more money and hadn't balanced our books, our monthly bank statements, for 2 years. So, I'm finding that just kind of ironic. And I guess my question, where were you then? In fiscal year 2011-12, the board voted down a salary increase of 25 cents, which you supported. However, the supervisor then took it to herself and decided to give her staff a 40-hour work week. The 40-hour work week gave these employees a 7% increase, as I stated previously. In addition to the 40-hour work week, on January 11th, 2012, this employee, now mind you, I'm not deviating, we're on the same person, was given a 5% increase. No labor grade. In fiscal year 2012-13, the board approved a 25-cent raise. Then on June 29th, 2012, this employee was given a 3% increase. Let's see, the supervisor, this one I really found interesting. And yes, the numbers are there. You have to dig, you have to put it onto paper, or you'll never understand what was done. In the fiscal year 2012-13, the supervisor had padded salaries by $36,155. Okay? Now, going back, the only time the board was informed of these salary changes was the single labor grade made in 2008. Okay? In the 8 years I am encompassing, the employee received a total of 150% increase in salary, roughly 19% per year if one was to break it down annually, or an average of 83 cents an hour. All of this done with one labor grade change. And if you knew and the rest of the trustees didn't, shame on you.
I did not know.
And if you didn't, shame on the previous administration for keeping you all in the dark. Now,
Yep, she did.
your immediate response to the 40-hour work week is the workload was such that it warranted the change. The previous supervisor even commented on the issue of comp time as this was brought to the board's attention during the audit review under transaction control in the Journal Standard on December 14, 2011 article, and I quote, "Finally," the auditor said, "there was an issue of dealing with how comp time was earned, and the supervisor explained when the township switched from a 37.5-hour work week to 40 and more verbiage, it cleared up a problem of people earning comp time for working overtime. So one would think that comp time would go down, right? I'm not even going to go back to 2008 and 9 and 10. 2010 and 11, this employee accumulated 127.5 hours of comp time and took 112.8 hours of sick. They earned in 2011 and 12 92.75 hours of comp time and took 128 hours of sick. 2012-13, this person accumulated, now, we should have gone down, right? We went to a 40-hour work week. 132.25 hours of comp time and 167.5 hours of sick time was taken. The total number of comp hours between 2009 and 13 was 435.75 hours and sick time of 345.3. I don't begrudge anybody taking sick time if they're ill. But why these hours are interesting? Many times, comp time and sick time were used to extend a weekend. Okay? Why am I showing you this? Let me give you a breakdown of the comp time abuse accumulated in increments of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Comp time given by the supervisor for 24 hours for work done for VACSC. Really? Please tell me they didn't get paid for those 24 hours and then get comp time. They got comp time to attend the mayor's hunger luncheon. They earned comp time while helping out at human service events. That one doesn't shock me. Comp time earned on days the office was closed for weather. Keep this one in mind. Comp time earned when the office was closed early for no reason. Earned comp time for working part-time of their lunch. Earned comp time when they were in GADI training days. When they were paid to be away from the office, they came back and earned comp time. Earned comp time on paid holidays. Earned comp time was figured, had to be calculated 1.5 times hours, even when they didn't work a full 40-hour week. Wrong, can't do, but done. The abuse of comp time should have gone down to a 40-hour work week implemented on August 2011, but it continued on. Also found instances of overtime being paid before these people met their 40-hour work week. Not legal. This employee was gone approximately 12%, 250 hours of the possible 2,080 hours of workable time in 11 and 12 annually. I've not included the time taken for vacation in these percentages and hour count. When Supervisor Sellers took the office, that was reduced to 5%, and within the first months, that was gone and done away with entirely. So how important was it for them to go to a 40-hour work week? Not. Between 2012 and 14, the office closed early for no apparent reason. I was able to find 14 times in 2012 and 13, as noted on the timesheets, that they closed for no reason. Most times it was Wednesdays and or Friday. So, I will quote you again. Mr. Sellers talks a good game, but I have to ask why he talks about transparency and has eliminated 2 practices that have been done for all the years Freeport Township was part of the city and then continued when it became its own entity. He's eliminated bringing salary increases to the board. Really? You just heard what happened. It didn't come to the board. It was done as deemed appropriate for the previous attorney. In my opinion, this should be a standard practice. I'm just going on again what you had quoted. And he's eliminated the process that should be made public and convenient to the taxpayers. And that's, I reiterated, what the attorney stated. My comments, I guess, to your statements is, where were you? And increases occurred repeatedly without any knowledge or that of the other trustees, I would hope. The abuse didn't stop with one employee, but I'm here to tell you, This is brain damage. When you go through these documents and you see and you find things, and then one thing leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to another, it is draining. And I'm really hoping, sharing this, that for you, it stops, because there's more to be had, and there's more to be found. And I really don't think you want us to do that, and I certainly know you don't want me to do that, because I will continue, and I will find more. And it's very disheartening to see, you know, the beautiful picture you want to paint of what it was in the past. You know, it may have been, Mickey, many, many years ago, but I'm here to tell you from roughly about 2007 to the date she left, it wasn't so pretty.
Okay, just 3 comments is all I have.
Sure.
We never were aware of the internal increase on the one staff you're talking about.
There was other staff. This is only one I was going to
And
show.
the other thing is, I voted against because I was concerned about some of the things that were going on, and I voted against 2 years in a row of pay increases. You know,
But they
now, I
took-
couldn't get to the bottom
Right.
of what was going on, but I knew something was, and I was not going to vote for the pay increases.
Yeah, the problem is until you put it onto a spreadsheet, you really don't see it. And I'll cap it all off. Here was the last thing. And again, things you don't expect to find, and when you get digging into the past. In November 10th of 2011, Township paid the Journal Standard to put an advertisement in. That posting was for a special meeting, November 28th of 2011, for the township to lease and or purchase a building. And it never happened. We paid for it. We got the receipt and the bill. We paid for it. But the meeting never occurred. So that tells me it's another individual comment about this individual. Knew what the right thing was to do, but chose not to do it. So I think I've said enough, and I really do. I want to see, we should be applauding Patrick and what they're doing instead of let's find reasons to dig. I can counter pretty much anything you want to bring out. You were upset for 16.3% increase for a CFO who's here every day, who doesn't do comp time, who balances our monthly bank statements, who fiscally is responsible, who is handling, and I will wager those auditors will be here and gone. It just, basically, let's stop. Let's just do what needs to be done. We've got work that needs to be done in this community. Coming after him.
I ask a question, you guys bring up the past.
No, that was
And
you
it's
that
not
did it.
a matter of anything other than asking a question that I think as a member of the board, I'm entitled to ask. But according to you,
No.
I'm not entitled to ask those because then I get dumped on.
No, I'm
For
not.
everything that
no.
went on in the past.
No,
Yep,
no,
Cindy,
your
that's what's
numbers,
happening.
I'll read you other things within this letter. You wanted to bring up stuff, and I'm going, where were you? I gave you one example. I can cite you 3 more people in that office that received these kinds of raises. And now you're going to come after him for 16.3%. She's still under what's the norm for that position, not even at entry level equivalent.
But I think it's not, I don't think, Mickey, that you asked the question, because we all have the right to ask the questions, and you are right. You do have the right to ask those questions. But I think at some of the points when you ask the questions, I know I wasn't at the last meeting, but the last meeting that we had this is May, so it was April. You did make a statement, and you said that he was hiding something, and
No, I didn't use the word hide.
well, that's what I heard. So, but I'm just saying, and I kind of, felt like, even up under this board that we have, I think that we are open and we say what we need to say, and we come to Pat in the meeting, or we come to him privately. But I do think that that also kind of offended the board a little bit to me. I don't know what it did to everybody, because saying that you're hiding something was like, we're letting things go and we're letting things go up under the table. And I think that's what Cindy is saying about some things that you say, not the questions that you ask, because you are right. You have every right to ask whatever question for the board. But I think sometimes you do say certain things that sounds like you're trying to find something, or you just won't let something go. And I think that's what we're saying. And we're here all together for the same reason. We're trying to work together. You know, nobody has nothing against anybody. We're just all trying to work together and make it the township what it's supposed to be. You know, because sometimes, you know, this week when I got that book, and I just rumbled through the book that we got on township, you know, and some of the things that I see that people are doing in other townships, I say that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be working together. Yeah, it is the past. Let's leave it alone. Let's go on.
Absolutely.
I'm tired of hearing it.
There's
You
no
know,
future
which-
in the
yeah.
past.
Right,
That's right.
but I'm tired of hearing it. But I guess when you do bring up those certain little things and you question every you know, little thing, I think it does kind of offend the board a little bit, like we're not doing our job, or we're not watching, or we can't, you know, we're not seeing. But I think we do. I think we have done a great job as a board, you know, and I think people are proud of us, of how we have cut back on the people. We have saved the town money. Yeah, we pay the workers, you know, what they deserve. But I'm saying, I think we have done great as a board, as, you know, questioning what's on here and, you know, working together. So I would like to leave the past alone. Let's leave it alone. Let's move on. I would like to do some of those things that I've seen done in that book, you know, that other townships are doing. You know, they're going out and doing certain things. And I would like for us to be in the community doing certain things. So let's leave it alone and let it go and let it die. Because you know what? If they get to digging and they bring up something, it could hurt somebody's feelings. So let's leave it alone while everybody's feelings are all right. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's what I'm
I'm
just saying,
feeling
Joy.
very much like I'm not allowed to ask questions
No,
or express my opinion.
No,
So,
I didn't say that.
and every time that I do, I get this feedback about yesteryear, and that's what happens. And I don't bring up yesteryear. I try very hard to talk about it in the context of as objective as I can. And if I'm not being as objective as I can, then I apologize for that, because I only feel like I am bouncing these things off, not myself, but other people who feel the same way that I do.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I bounce my ideas off 3 or 4 people that I trust. And it's not the previous, has nobody from the previous administration. These are community leaders that, whose opinions I value.
Well, I'm saying, I
So I
and
feel
I don't
like
have a
I'm
problem with
not
that.
saying something that I just created. I get feedback before I put things together.
And you know what? If they're community leaders and they have questions, I mean, I wish they would come as public comment. You know, then that way it doesn't feel like it's you. You know, to me, that's what I tell people. When they ask me certain things, I tell them, hey, you're more than welcome to come to the meeting. You know, we would love to have people come to the meeting and voice their opinion or hear what they have to say. So, no, I don't think we think that you shouldn't voice your opinion, because you have that right, you know, to say whatever you need to say. We just think, I ain't gonna say me. Just think that sometimes you do take some of your questions, and it does seem like you're trying to find something just to say, you know, I got it. And that's what I'm saying I feel.
It
You know,
would be
maybe nobody else
so
feels.
much easier if we had more detailed information about salaries, rather than having to dig through the budget to find it. That, to me, would be very helpful.
Did
I
we
would
didn't
just like
have
to
this
say,
power?
no.
Did they not get the list of employees and their salaries? I thought they did.
No.
I got one from Mr. Sellers that
Correct.
added the 5%, but I didn't get anything that showed the increases. I just got the current status of the
You mean
employees.
talking about the increases
talking
from the
about-
beginning that he took over,
Yeah,
the increases of the salary, that's what
Right.
you're talking
You're
about.
talking about the longevities.
No, it's-
Well, you know, I
They're in
thought,
there.
do I understand that we are not following that anymore?
The longevities are
I
in
thought we
place.
were not following the salary grades and longevity that was established with the
They're,
previous
they're all
administration.
separate. You have the longevity separate, you have the labor grade separate, you have the salaries separate. They are
Do we
no longer.
use those? Are
The
we using
longevity
those?
has been in place, yes.
It's gone
And the
down
salary
over-
grades
It
have
has
been
gone
in
down.
place.
It's gone down from what, 5% to
It's
3%?
Down to 1 per year.
Okay, so are we picking and choosing whether we use salary grades or whether we use longevity, salary grades?
Well, the labor, the labor, yes, the labor grade and the salaries are no longer tied. That died. That died in 2012.
Well, I don't understand that they were ever tied. I thought they were separate entities.
No, if you saw what you used to get a breakdown of the personnel, a labor grade, and a salary.
Yes, but those were separate issues because we didn't have longevity for everybody every year. So it was only those that
Every 3 years,
everybody earned, so to
Right.
speak.
except new hires.
So those were two separate, in my mind, they were always two separate pieces of information, the labor grades and the longevity. As I understand it, they were not tied together. They were used as separate pieces.
That's how I understood it too.
Correct, they are
Yeah.
separate.
They are separate.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
let's say you've been here 9 years
You
and it
get
happens to be a
3%.
year where you're going to get a 10-cent raise. You might be getting your longevity raise in May
And your
getting
other-
your-
yes.
Yeah.
I understand that, but they're two separate, they're really not tied to each other.
No.
No, not at all. No.
Okay, that was my clarification because I understood that. So we are still using longevity, you're telling me?
Correct, currently,
But we
yes.
are not using labor grades.
The labor grades don't tie. Even back when if you were to go back when they were all designed, even the entries, the 1 year, the staff got a flat dollar amount. I don't know if you guys remember that. They didn't get a cent raise. So I'm not sure we ever readjusted. So even your beginning salaries, they're kind of an ambiguous number. We've never really tied them. So we've got an entry of 1 through 10. Tied to what?
So you're saying there's no policy that dictates what a beginning salary should be and how the raises should be? Is that
The
what you're
raises
saying?
are tied to a longevity step. That's over here. The longevity is in place. And I talked to the city because I wanted, they're still, you two remember, it's the old Jacobs plan. I mean, you're going so far back into the archives that it's kind of ridiculous. So the difference is in the old Jacobs plan upstairs, it's 6 months, Michael, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 9 year, and we go, wow, isn't that sad? Because if there's no cost of living, you're basically saying your time in isn't worth anything. From 5 to 9 years, you don't get any raises unless you
What
give
other
them a
place
COLA.
gives you longevity besides the city and the
Government is
township?
notorious for it, and
Is
Mike
it?
can probably explain it either. One, it keeps the politics out of the position. If I didn't like Joy, but I liked you, you get 25 cents and I'll give you 5. It removes the personality, it removes the politics out of the process. That's why longevity must be in more than just our city government and the township government.
It's in the College of Medicine.
It's everywhere that I can imagine.
But
Isn't it like in the
But
school,
it
don't
was
they like
also
to,
a selective process.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Think it's a good thing to
longevity
get rid of.
was not given all the time.
In my time, I don't believe that to be the case.
Well,
I don't
having
think you
been
could
an
have
employee of the
excluded.
state of Illinois,
Well, now,
I
see, they
can
do it
tell you
differently then.
that while they had a longevity policy, they never implemented it consistently. So some years when longevity was due to somebody, they didn't necessarily implement it. It depended on the budget and the governor.
Wow.
No.
See, to me, that's exactly why it should be in place, because it removes the politics out of it.
Right.
I mean, if you're warranted a cost of living because you've now worked 5 years, I would be a little bit upset if I were that employee and you now saying, because I don't feel like it this year, there's not gonna be
Well, there was a
longevity.
difference between the union people and the salaried people.
Okay, we're non-union.
So the salaried people had to go along with the administration. The union people did not, but the salaried people had to go along with the administration.
Okay.
In my time period, the longevity has been in place. The only thing we did is we stripped it down and we said 1% the first year, 1% the second year. I think there was a miscommunication, but the third year there was given a 3%. And to me, it should have been 1, but that's just me. That's not the interpretation that was followed. And then you get 3% every 3 years thereafter. That's
Just
how
like
it was set up
clockwork.
back in 2007 and 8.
And it might not happen, let's say on May 1st, but they always went retroactive, I remember that.
Yeah, it's your,
Once the budget was approved, then they went back and we got a check for that amount.
if you were, yeah,
May
if you were
1st.
warranted,
Yeah.
so.
But that's controlled locally by whoever is in the elected position at the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, we followed that part of it. I mean, like I said, the job descriptions were no longer feasible. I mean, that was the first thing. They didn't fit. And then the next question is, fit into what?
Yeah.
You're asking us to put a square peg into a round hole. The reality is the job should warrant what the job should be paying.
But doesn't that translate into an upgraded labor grade?
Again, if you believe that the labor grades that are in place are warranted, they're very archaic. Patrick and I and Liz and Maida, we've discussed this. You know, there's a time and a place. The reason they did the 1% at 6 months, what is it? 5% at 6 months, what did she tell me? And then they get one at 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. And they're fairly hefty. They front-end loaded them. Everybody I mean, you remember that, and I know you remember that. Because basically what they're saying is they bring them in at a lower value or a lower salary, but we're going to give you a kick at 5% at 6 months, and then another kick at 1 year, and another kick at 2 years. And oh, by the way, after 2 years, you've learned everything you need to know. You don't get a raise now till 5 years. And then you don't get any raises until 9. So the concept and the thinking of why they did it, to me, the longevity kept the politics out of the employees. You were here. The other problem with that is that you're guaranteed a raise whether you deserve it or not, but that's where the supervisor and myself come into play. And if we have an employee that's not performing, then it's up to us to make notation. And there's ramifications. If you don't do this, this, and this, you know, then maybe it's time to send them down the road. But, you know, in today's time, to me, the front-end load doesn't need to be in place. Let's just pay these people what they should be paid and stop. The days of the old, I mean, like I said, Patrick and I, and we're looking at it, is the longevity. The longevity, in my mind, guarantees the removal of the politics. So you know, we aren't Democrat, Republican here, but if you were, and you wore a Democratic hat, and I'm a Republican, and I don't like your philosophy, therefore, I'm not going to give you the raise, but I'm going to give it to you because I like your thinking. But with the longevity steps, that removes that. So especially with elected positions, I kind of think it's a safety for the employees. That's how I look at it. So,
Well, I know Nikki had something she wanted to say. Didn't you? Or did you forget it?
No, not really, but I have a hard time talking. Cindy, I just don't like you telling Nikki that the way she voted. She has every right to vote. And I voted also against the raise.
no, I wasn't opposed to
Yes,
that.
that's what it sounded like to me.
No.
And we have a right to vote the way we want to vote. And I don't want to hear anybody say because I voted no, that you're wrong.
No,
I went
didn't.
through this on city council. Took a long time You know, when you're the only one person voting no.
No,
If that is what I think, and I think I'm protecting the taxpayers, I'm gonna vote no. And anybody else here has the right to vote no without somebody bringing it up. That's all I have to say.
But this was all stuff
it was
that was not
voting
even
for
brought to
things,
your
not
attention.
against.
No, I'm not talking about, I know all that other stuff.
Okay.
I'm just talking about tonight when she said to Mickey she voted no and how great Liz is. Nobody said Liz was not great. Nobody said, we just said we didn't think it was time for those raises.
No, my
And that's
comment
up
wasn't
to
that
us.
she didn't vote, I didn't say she didn't vote for it. My comment is that her percentage was less of an increase than what the previous employee was making.
And we knew that.
Okay, that's all I was
Okay.
saying, yeah,
And
yeah,
I
no,
knew
no,
that.
yeah.
I just
That's-
didn't think it was the year for raises.
No, and
And
you're talking about 11 and 12 when the staff didn't get one. But the hours went up to 40-hour work week, that's what I was trying to
okay.
bring forth. Yeah, out of 5 years, my staff, and 2 years, the supervisor staff, we didn't get raises. The employees didn't get a raise,
That's right.
3 out of 5. So,
Okay. With that being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn
So
until
moved.
Second.
Monday, June 6, 2016.
Yeah, so moved.
So moved. Sellers, second by Alderson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.